Hi everybody, this is Jeremy Siskin here. I am the author of two amazing books, Playing Solo Jazz Piano and Jazz Piano Fundamentals. I hope you guys have a chance to check them out, add them to your Christmas list, all that. But today, I'm not here just to promote my books. I'm here because I've been working on transcribing a McCoy Tyner solo, and I've come up with a few exercises that I like based on kind of the analysis that I've done with the transcription. As always, when I talk about an artist, I hesitate to, reduce any artist, especially one as great and diverse and deep as McCoy Tyner, to any set of exercises. So just, take it with a grain of salt. This is one of many, many wonderful, incredible, diverse parts of his playing. But let me show you one thing that I've noticed from this transcription, and this is 4x5, which is a really up-tempo recording of McCoy Tyner, is that he frequently plays in these descending groups of four notes. And I know that you can't really see the specifics yet, but what I've done, just to give you a sense, is I've put a red square around any time that there's just a descending group of four notes, and then it either changes directions, leaps up, or the phrase ends. So you can see, just in these two pages, that's really happening quite a lot. And in fact, if I were going to do my cheap, tawdry McCoy Tyner impression, it would have a lot of these. I'd be playing a lot of pentatonics, and I'd be playing a lot of kind of descending, rippling lines. Now, so that was already interesting to me, that there's these groups of four notes. And then one of the things that I was kind of fascinated by, and I'm going to show you some specifics now, is that these groups of four notes didn't necessarily start on any particular beat. It would be tempting to think, four notes, that divides perfectly, if they're eighth notes, four notes makes up two beats, so maybe it would always happen starting on beats 1 and 3, or maybe it would always happen starting on the end of 4, or something like that. But that was not what I found. So look at 17. I'm going to do my best to play it for you. This one's actually a cool one because it's got this augmented chord. I'll do that for you one more time in slow motion. It's so cool. McCoy's so good because it's almost predictable. It's almost like my lame bad impression, but it's so much better. It's so much cooler what he actually does. So here you can see that there's this long chain, and each one is starting right before the strong beat. Okay, and just to be clear about my nomenclature, when I say strong beat, I mean beats 1 and 3. So here, these groups of four notes are starting on the and of 2 and the and of 4. Right, this first one starts, that's the and of 2, that's the and of 4, that's the and of 2, that's the and of 4. But then, let's see how well my iPad will allow me to do this. When we look at measure 25 here, where are they starting? They're starting right on the beat, beats 1 and 3. 1. Right? And in fact, if we look now at this final line of this page, we can see that there's one starting on beat 1 and then one starting on the end of 4 in quick succession. Kind of interesting. And that makes the rhythm really funky and rich. And we can even find, here I'm on to the next page, starting at 49, now they're starting somewhere we haven't seen them start before, on the end of 1 and on the end of 3, so right after the strong beats. So I'll play, there's a very long chain of eighth notes here. I'll do my best to play it. I'll play kind of somewhat in fast time first if I can. 1, 2, 3. That rhythm cool. It's so cool and funky. And a lot of it is where these accents, it starts on the end of 1 and the end of 3, and then it moves back to the strong beat. This is beat 3, not beat 1. And then it comes to those anticipations. I'm going to play it fast for you one more time, then I'll slow it down. And now slower, tempo di lerno. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some good stuff. So I'm really interested in getting better at this, both at, and here I'll make myself a little bit bigger here. I'm both super interested in just getting better at these 4-note phrases in general, but then like how cool is it to be able to mix between starting these 4-note, 8-note phrases on different beats. I personally think that it's super cool. So I invented a few exercises for myself, and I wanted to share them with you as well. So I'm starting on D minor, so we can be thinking about D Dorian. And I have this little left-hand pattern, which I invented, which for some reason my iPad is just not being very kind about right now. There we go. So this is a pretty common McCoy general style left hand. 1, 2, 3. So this one's anticipating the strong beats other than beat 1. So I'm going to practice putting my 4-note groups on every possible different grouping. Okay? And by the way, I'm going to be using the G major, or you can think of it as E minor pentatonic. Now, you might be wondering why use E minor pentatonic when I told you I'm using D Dorian. And the reason is that it fits beautifully and has much more colorful notes than a D minor or F major pentatonic, right? It's got that 13th, which is so typical of the Dorian. It's got the 9th. It's got the 11th. So it's got a lot of those upper extensions. And it's overall just going to be kind of more interesting than D Dorian. So here, for this first one, the accents are going on beats 1 and 3. So let's see if I can do it. So I'll start a little higher so I can go longer. One more time. Cool. Fun. Sounds like a lame version of McCoy, which is basically like my level right now. Okay, we saw some places where it started on beats on the and of 1 and of 3. So let's try that. So it's pause and talk about fingering for a second, because what I don't think I would do is try to start each of these groupings of 4 on my pinky. And I don't know how McCoy did it. I haven't like studied closely a video of him playing, but what I would actually try to do is group it into as few groupings as possible. So if you actually do the first one, 5, 4, 3, 2, you can easily do the next one, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm gonna do 3, 2, 1, cross over, which actually puts me in amazing position to do the next one, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, crossover, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, crossover. So I'm basically, for every hand position, I'm getting 3 groups of these 4 eighth notes. Again, it'd be 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, crossover. And I could make an argument for crossing over with either 3 or 2. I leave it to you. Dealer's choice. Okay. We could also do it starting on beats 2 and 4. I don't think I saw any examples in what I showed you of McCoy doing it on beats 2 and 4, but later in the transcription, he does sometimes start these groups of 8th notes on 2 and 4. So 1. It's a little backbeat. So 1, 2, lastly, starting on the and of 2 and of 4. All right, it's not positioning it beautifully, but you get the idea. We saw McCoy do this a lot. That's one of the easiest ones to play with the left hand because the left hand accents actually match up. Okay, so those are kind of the 4 places we can start these. Beats 1 and 3, the strong beats. The and of 1 and and of 3, right after the strong beats, 2 and 4. Or anticipating the strong beats on the and of 2 and of 4. But where this gets interesting is finding ways where it won't end up to be, it won't end up totally even. So the first thing that we could do, and I see McCoy do this quite a bit in the transcription, is we can mix in a group of 3. So you can see in red there, I bracketed that there's a group of 3. And so here, as you can see, we start on beats 1 and 3, and then by the middle of the second measure, we're anticipating 2 and 4. This is going to be trickier. So it creates this cool kind of polyrhythm. I often compare accents in jazz. They want to be like a boxer jabbing. They want to be unexpected, and this really accomplishes that. So very funky. So one way that I'm thinking about it is just every time I go down, if I get to my B, I'm playing that E minor triad instead of the whole group of 4. I'll do it one more time. So 4, 4, 4, 3. I can't do it in talk. 4, 4, 3. 4, 4, 4, 3. 4, 4, 3. And so that gets us like 1 ahead. If we want to go 1 behind, we can mix in a group of 5 instead. So 4. And I do see McCoy mixing groups of 5. And of course, 5 is probably the largest number we want to mix in because that's as many fingers as we have. And we're going to run out of fingers for our hand positions if we do more than that. So that definitely creates some funkiness. If we don't feel like adding a 5th note, we can put in an 8th note rest instead. So you can see there's an 8th rest right at the beginning of measure 2, and it's essentially going to have the same effect as if we had a measure of 5 in there. So, and again, I put this in because I saw it in McCoy's solo. I'm not making it up. I'm going to try to mix these 3 devices. It's getting really funky and interesting, and I'm still just playing this stupid pentatonic scale exercise, right? I'm not adding in any outside notes or even mixing pentatonic scales at all. Here's something else that I see McCoy do, which is what I'm calling stuttering. And so what I've done is I've shown you, I repeated AG at the end of bar 1 and beginning of bar 2. So doesn't have to be the exact same notes, it could be or I dig it. I think it's really cool. And that's going to displace you by a beat rather than, these other ones have just displaced you by 1/8 note. So that's bringing us from beat 1 to beat 2. Or, one thing to always keep in mind is you can do these things as triplets, and therefore you'll, just get a polyrhythm from the beginning. So all right, guys. So those are a bunch of exercises to get this kind of descending McCoy Tyner pattern down, coordinate it with the left hand, and then make it more interesting. If you like me, if you like my content, want to support your channel, checking out these 2 books are the best way to help me out, playing solo jazz piano and jazz piano fundamentals. You can also subscribe to my mailing list, and I'll have more fun stuff to come. See y'all soon.